Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run over me. Run through the land you...
This is Jan Lewis. Welcome to be my guest today. We have a very special friend of mine. I believe I met Betsy Brewer from the Southwick Zoo. I think Betsy, it was in 1993, 1994 in Northbridge when I started off in the Northbridge cable station. And off and on through the years, we've been honored to have her come on back. And she always brings a surprise or a couple of animals for us. So I really don't know what's coming. Wait till you see what she has today. Welcome back, Betsy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Betsy, you are the Executive Director of Conservation, Education, and Research.
Correct.
I got it. Okay. At the Southwick Zoo, people who are watching from out of state, out of town, Southwick Zoo is in Mendon, Mass. How big is it?
The zoo itself is on about 200 acres. The average zoo in the United States is about 50 acres, and we have an exhibit that's 50 acres that a train ride goes through.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful elk and wetlands habitat. And so we're pretty large. We have about 850 animals, and we've grown so much over the last few years. My grandfather started the zoo in 1963. It was officially opened. And we've been going along ever since. We're still owned within the family. I have my mom still involved, a sister and 3 brothers, and my grown sons.
So you were like a baby, basically, when it started.
Oh, absolutely.
You were a little kid, so
Yeah.
you got to learn
I was
from your
toddling around.
Yeah, and you got to learn from your grandpa all
Yeah.
about how did he find these animals? How do they get there?
Well, that's the interesting thing, because my grandfather, Justin Southwick, was a dairy farmer. And he sold off his dairy cows in 1953-ish, and he just started concentrating on his love of birds, particularly migratory waterfowl. And he eventually became one of the leading authorities on migratory waterfowl. So people from all over would come up to the zoo and check out his bird collection. He put a donation box out in 1956. And as you know, during this time, there was no internet. You know, you didn't get a lot of information, so people would come up and find out what was going on. And he wanted to sell the birds so he could keep his hobby and his passion going, but he got very few cash customers. Instead, what happened was major zoos throughout the country started trading him.
Trading animals?
Trading animals with him, which we still do, for the birds. And we've grown from there.
They have, if you've never been to Southwick Zoo, this is, well, a whole afternoon at least, right? I mean, sometimes you might have to come back another day.
Yeah, it's a good full day, for sure.
I know when I went with my son's class, I think he was in 1st or 2nd grade, and we didn't cover even maybe half. The kids need to sit down, they wanted to have their snacks, maybe they wanted to ride the little kiddie rides. I said, well, let's go look at the animals too. They were at that age still interested in the little rides. Now you said they've got a train there, and they've also got a tram from up top, right?
Yeah, a Skyfari ride. It covers about 1/3 of the zoo from about 20 to 30 feet above. And you start out at the African plains, and then as you go along, you'll see the cheetahs and the audads and the chimps, and you come around through the elk forest and up over some sheep and ring-tailed lemurs, as well as the camels, the Watusi, and the alligator.
Oh, yeah. So now I know when my husband and I visited, the last time we went to Southwick, we were amazed at the, again, what do you call it? Not the tram. What is it? The
Skyfari.
The Skyfari. It must have stopped to reload something, and they were just stopped up there. And I looked down, and we looked down. They were right over the alligator cage.
Right.
And I thought, I think better not drop, because those people are going to be dinner.
Right.
So, but does that have, it's not scary, right? If it stops, does it mean they just...
Oh, no. It's usually because we were either slowing it or stopping it for somebody that has some special need, or an elderly person, or somebody that's just nervous about getting off.
Yeah, definitely. Now, and then there's a train that you were talking about. Where do you pick up the train in there?
That's the Woodland Express. It's down by the mandrill exhibit, and of course from the North American porcupine exhibit. And that's a really nice ride. It's beautiful, it's soothing, it's through the ponds and by the wetlands area. And there's a CD that plays on the train that explains about wetlands.
Oh, so it's that's sort of like a CD tour director of it.
Yes, it
No,
is.
they used to have an elephant. I rode that elephant years ago, and then my son rode a no, not a llama. Was it
Camel.
Camel.
Yeah.
Where did they go?
Yeah. We haven't had elephants at our zoo since the early 80s. So, but we have leased them from people in the past, but we haven't had elephants in a few years. So the elephant habitat that we originally used is now our rhino habitat.
You got a rhino.
We have 2 rhinos, white rhinos, and that is one of my passions, rhino conservation, because what's happening to rhinos out in the wild is deplorable. They're getting slaughtered, I would call it, slaughtered for their horns, which are used in traditional Asian medicine.
Yeah.
The horn is nothing more than hair, keratins and proteins like our fingernails. And I was just in China
Yeah. I know.
at the Sun River Zoo talking with them about rhino conservation and how can we get a culturally sensitive message.
Were they receptive?
Oh, extremely, extremely. I was so happy and excited and felt so much passion about being there and working with the people from the Sun River Zoo to try and get the message out. So we developed a rhino encounter at Southwick Zoo, and they were interested in developing their own one.
Can they
And-
come over here and visit you? Or?
Yeah, yes, hopefully that will happen. And while I was there, they were building the rhino encounter area, so it was very exciting.
Did you have to have an interpreter, or did they speak English?
No, they did not speak English, so I had an
But they
interpreter.
got the message, though. They knew what you were
Oh
saying.
yeah, we had an interpreter.
They heard. Now, there's the zoo in Providence, but that's a lot smaller than Southwick.
I haven't been there in so long.
never have been.
But it's more themed. Roger Williams, I love it, and they're doing great work there too.
They are.
You know,
Have you ever been to the Ecotarium in Worcester?
I have been to the Ecotarium. Again, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's kind
But
of.
they're doing great work too.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have a lot of facilities around us where people in the Audubon Society does so great, where people can learn about animals and learn about our environment and our planet. I mean, there's, you know, it's interesting because I had a group of teenagers and I do rhino encounters with our summer camp kids, and I said to them, how many people do you think live on the planet? I said, you know, we have less than 19,000 white rhinos left. There's less than 50 Javan rhinos left. 50. You know, that's
weird.
how many people are in a small store when you go in.
Yeah.
And when I ask people, do you know how many people live on the planet? And they're like, 100,000? I'm like, no, it's 7.6 billion. And I don't think anybody can really wrap their heads around those figures. You know, once you get into large cities like Beijing or Cairo and 25 million people live in the city like that, it really makes you
Makes you
think about it.
Now, Betsy has some treats for us. Choose which little critter you're going to show. What do you think? Oh, here comes the
How
kangaroo.
about this one?
You got a baby kangaroo. And she is how many months old?
She's about 6. Hard to tell because when a kangaroo is actually born, they're the size of a jelly bean.
A
That
jelly
big.
bean?
That big. They come out of the mom and they take this long, long crawl up across her hair and crawl into the pouch
Yeah.
where they grow and develop. So they're a
smaller than a
marsupial.
kitten. They're smaller than a kitten.
Oh yeah, they're only this big.
Or
A jelly
are
bean.
they about a guinea pig size, or even
Smaller.
smaller than a
They're underdeveloped because they are a marsupial. So marsupial means developing outside of the womb. So she has a true pouch. Other marsupials only have skin folds or flaps.
Yeah.
But she's, believe it or not, a giant red kangaroo who's very sleepy right now. And of course, she has great hearing, as you can tell just by looking at her ears.
She knows we're here.
Yeah, she's a good
What
girl.
was her name again?
Her name's Adelaide. We call her Addie.
Where was when was she born? What's her birthday?
Well, we don't know because when they come out of the mom and crawl up into the pouch, you don't see them.
Okay.
And they latch onto a teat
Yeah.
and they stay there. And then you can usually, when they're about a couple months old, start to see the pouch move a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe start peering out at about 3 or 4 months.
Were you surprised?
But she's like sound asleep
Look
almost.
at her, look at- she's
Would you
like
like
a
to hold her?
Oh, she's like a cat. She's like a kitten. Oh my God! Hello, little one. Or you come home with me.
And then, of course, she has a very, very strong tail. She's going to identify you by smell.
Okay, that's why cats do that.
So she hasn't met you before, so she's
Well.
smelling you to figure out who you are.
Does she smell my kitties?
Probably. Their sense of smell is incredible. They can smell grass about 4 miles away.
And is this common that they're this friendly with a human, or you?
She's an awesome kangaroo. She has a wonderful personality, and how she got her name was 25 or more years ago when I raised one of my first kangaroos, as an adult anyway. Her name was Adelaide, and she had, Joeys after that were calm like her. And then when we got her, she came from another zoo. I was like, she's so calm and she's so good, I'm going to call her Adelaide.
She has
so we haven't had an Adelaide in a long time.
6 toes or 5 toes?
These are her little paws that are her hands. So there's 5. And then they're a macropod, what's called a macropod.
Yeah.
So a big toe, but she has these little toes beside that one too.
Oh, he's like a human baby. Just like, now, you couldn't let her into the wild now because she's too...
No. But the interesting thing about kangaroos is they do not have a lot of learned behavior.
Yeah.
So if I got on a plane, brought her to Australia, and a group of kangaroos accepted her, which chances are they would, because of that lack of learned behavior, she would be fine out in the wild. She would instinctively know what to do. For other animals that have more learned behavior and higher intelligence, that's very, very difficult.
At what age will she, shall we say, get married?
She will be able to breed when she's about 1.5 years old.
She'll be a baby.
Yeah, they're prolific breeders.
Like bunny rabbits.
Yeah, so they have babies all the time.
How many do they have at a time?
Just one.
Oh, they have only child.
Yes. So you could have a joey coming out of the pouch and one in the pouch, and then one waiting to be born. That's why in Australia kangaroos are kind of considered pests, and they eat them because they're...
They eat them?
Yes.
People eat the kangaroos?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, well, this one's not going anywhere.
Well, we eat chicken and beef and fish and everything here, so...
So where would anybody
And deer.
go at the zoo? Is there a special compound for the kangaroo?
She is in the Earth Discovery Center because she is one of our animal ambassadors. She is used in education programs, and when she gets older, we will use her as an animal ambassador, but we will put her back in with the other kangaroos when we're not doing programs. And they're already comfortable with her, and she's fine, which will make her a very mellow, good kangaroo.
I bet children love
She'll
her.
even have her own joeys.
Do you bring her to see the children, right?
Correct. Yes, we go to schools, health facilities, places like this.
Yeah.
So we can teach people about the world, the planet, the environment, and how important biodiversity really is to all of us.
You viewers could be here right now and feel how soft she is.
Very, very soft fur.
Soft. Very soft.
And that's her tail that she's
Yeah. It's
got
like
her
a
little
kitty cat.
paw in.
And you are
Funny.
bottle feeding her still, though?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. How long will she bottle feed?
We will probably do a bottle for a couple more months.
And it's a special formula for her.
It's a special formula. Wambaroo made specifically for kangaroos.
Just for her.
Yes.
I like the way it's almost like a kitty cat. She
Yeah.
hides like this. She washed herself too.
Yes. A lot of times what they'll do is they'll lick their wrists,
Yeah.
and that cools their bodies down.
Are you hot-blooded?
Yeah, because
Hi.
where they're from, it's very hot all the time.
Wait, look at the people. Oh, yes. Oh, she said, Dean, this is pretty interesting in here. Oh, this is different.
She probably thinks the plants are something she could eat,
Ah!
because she does eat some browse.
Do you really? Now you have another critter.
I do.
Uh-oh.
Would you like me to put her back?
Okay. For her safety, to bring out this critter, she probably needs to be on
The
her
nice
own,
part about a kangaroo is you can store them in this cloth pouch, which is so nice.
Well, that would surprise somebody if you're going over to visit at their house someday and you say, "Oh, hi. Oh, I like your backpack." Really? Look at it.
That has happened.
Has it?
That has happened.
All right, here comes another surprise.
At our restaurant, Galliford's, back at the zoo, one day I was taking her home and I set her on the back of the bar stool briefly. And someone said, "That looks like a kangaroo."
Yeah. Oh,
This is an interesting critter. This is Dilly.
Did you bring Dilly?
Dill is an armadillo. No, I've only had Dill a few years.
There was one you put on the table back when we first started the show. Was that a,
Is this
Hedgehog?
not so cool? A hedgehog.
okay, now the armadillo, he is in there.
She is in there. Look at how she is completely balled up. This is a 3-banded armadillo. This is the only species of armadillo that can do this.
Will she come
This
out?
is for protection. And this layer across her body is keratins and proteins, like what is in a rhinoceros
Yeah,
horn,
yeah.
to protect her. And let's see if we can get her to come out. She's a very shy
Oh.
one. We have another armadillo, Armando, and he's not shy. But I really wanted to show you how she stays completely balled up like that
Yeah.
for protection.
Will she? But she does come out. Does she eat like this?
No, she'll come out.
How old is she?
She's about 3 years old now.
Is that young or old for an armadillo?
They live into their teens, so she might even be 4.
Has she had babies?
There she goes. She did have a baby and it did not survive.
Okay. Do you have them on display at Southwick's, right?
These animals are used in education programs, so they're off display, but you can see them if you go to the Earth Discovery Center
Alright.
and visit one of our programs, whether it's a conservation program, adaptations, or any other things that we do. We have, on the first Saturday in August every year, we have what's called Earth Awareness Day.
Yeah.
And we have all special presenters, all the animals are out, and it's just so much fun.
Now,
There she's out now.
oh.
And she walks on the end of her claws. Is that not cool?
Is that to protect her shell?
Yes, all
Do
protection.
they go back to like way back to the 1600s? I mean, when the Earth began? I mean, she looks ancient.
I would say this is an ancient adaptation.
Sorry, girl, but you do look
Yeah.
ancient.
Look at her ears.
Yeah, she's got ears.
But the reason why I like to bring her versus Armando doesn't like to ball up.
Yeah.
So showing a 3-banded armadillo with this amazing adaptation is just so cool.
Look at her little. She's got hairs hanging down.
Yes, she's a mammal, so all mammals have hair at some point in their lives.
What does she eat, Betsy?
She's an insectivore, so she eats insects. And we feed her a varied diet back at the zoo to keep her nice and healthy. But I just love her. I think she's the coolest looking thing.
Now they're not afraid of each other, right? The kangaroo.
Well, they stay separate, so.
Look at the tail. She's got a tail.
Yeah.
Do you still have the guinea pig cage?
And then she'll ball right up.
Oh, look at her. She's in there. She's all balled up. Oh.
Fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, in the southern states, in the United States, there's 9-banded armadillos. They're much bigger. They can get to be quite large,
Yeah.
but they can't ball up like this.
Oh my gosh.
We call that the armadillo shake.
Why does she do that?
She's just stretching out.
She's shaking.
Yeah.
She's not nervous.
No, she's just coming out.
Whoa. Will she go
Her
up?
eyesight isn't that great,
Yeah.
so I want to make sure she doesn't.
Doesn't fall over. Oh, her legs are longer than you think they are.
See that?
Look at those claws. Does a vet ever do her claws or just
No,
lets her-
we have filed her claws a little bit,
Yeah.
but she walks on the tips of them,
Yeah.
which is amazing. Every now and then we'll have to file her.
She looks like a throwback to the dinosaur age.
Yeah.
To me.
Amazing adaptations. And as you can see,
Oh.
most all animals smell to figure out what's going on around them.
Yeah. Would she bite me?
I don't know.
Okay, let's try it.
She hasn't bitten anybody yet.
Would she smell
I
me?
always say that yet is the key word, right?
She smells, right?
Yeah.
No, she'll want anything to do with me. Do you still have the guinea pig?
We do have guinea pigs. Yes,
Okay,
we
I
do.
love those guinea pigs.
Yeah.
And what was her name again?
Dilly
Dilly.
the armadillo.
Thank you for bringing Betsy.
There you go.
Did she drive?
She does not,
She doesn't
but she
drive.
likes to ride.
Do you ever
Put her back in.
walk the kangaroo in a baby carriage?
I have not done that, but I carry her like I would a purse.
Do you ever bring her into a store and people say, "What is that? A child?"
I try not to do any of that, particularly, like I said, into Galliford's restaurants. You're not supposed to have animals in them, or stores or things like that. But there's been times where I've had to, and usually she'll just sleep in the bag so you can't even
fine.
see her.
Betsy,
so it's
how
just
can
fine.
people get a hold of you if they want to know more, or online about the zoo?
Absolutely, go to our website at www.southwickzoo.com. And to find out about rhino encounters or how you could help rhinos, you can go to our nonprofit website, which is earthltd.org. And you can book a rhino encounter on there. I did rhino encounters this morning for our teen summer programs. And they were just fascinated because here's an animal that weighs 2 tons, 4,000 pounds.
Yeah.
And they're standing there scratching them behind their ears.
Oh.
And they were just amazed by it. And for a group of kids that are so quiet,
Yeah.
they were amazed by it, and it was wonderful.
Oh my God! Now you have a deer. Where you can actually
We have
go-
Deer Forest, that's 35 acres.
You know, we were walked up there, and I guess the deer were feeling like visiting, but I was looking for him, and he didn't come up to me at all. But you have to go further in, maybe.
Yeah, well, sometimes, on certain occasions, we'll get some summer camp kids in that are loud and obnoxious and running, and the deer will just scatter away. So they have that ability to do that.
I see little hands coming up out of the pouch, and that is our little kangaroo pal. What is she waking up? What is she doing?
She's just stretching.
Now, Betsy and I, as I go way back, when I started on, I think it was Blackstone Valley Afternoon, something like that, we actually took a video camera down to the zoo. And I wasn't getting it. I said, "Where's the hippo?" and you kept saying, "There is no hippo." And I said, "Where's the hippo?" I kept looking all around for him. I figured there's got to be a hippo in there. There's no hippo. And everybody else got a charge out of it. I said, "Why is everyone laughing? And there should be a hippo in here." There's no hippo.
No hippo.
Why no hippo?
We have, hippos are very hard to keep.
Yeah.
And you need a lot of water. One thing that we're lacking up on the hill at Southwick Zoo in Mendon is water.
Oops.
So we do have exhibits that have pools in them, like the tigers, the South American tapirs have a pool, the capybaras, but water is not something that comes easy to us.
Is that rough on the animals? They gotta have,
Well, we have clean, fresh well water.
yeah.
But to have a hippo, we would need a lot of water and a lot of draining and a lot of filling of the pool.
Now, I don't like snakes. I've got a real thing about snakes.
And we just built a new reptile house.
Okay,
But you don't have to go in it.
No. Now, there are more things than reptiles in there, right? Are there
yes.
turtles?
Yes, there's some tortoises, some turtles, lizards, snakes.
Lizards
as,
I like.
As well as some spiders. Yeah.
Spiders and snakes. What's that song? I don't like spiders and snakes.
Yeah.
But I like you see them at a pet store, this giant lizard.
Yeah.
Imagine that walking around your home.
Oh, I know.
That wouldn't be too bad.
I know. When I was in China, I had a little lizard in my hotel room. He was only about this big, though.
Where'd you get him?
I don't know. He just hung out with me for the whole week.
Now, you just went to China. How long did you stay?
I was there almost 2 weeks total with travel, so not that long.
Did they pay for it?
No.
You had to pay for it.
Yeah.
That's a long trip.
It's a long trip, but it was well worth it. The Sun River Zoo, or I like to call it a wildlife park because it's so natural, is 1 million acres. And yeah, 1 million acres.
How do they fill those with all these animals?
And it's not really a zoo. It's kind of like where the animals are native to.
Yeah.
And they feed them, and they can educate and teach people about them. But it's a beautiful province called Yunnan province in southern China. And we also visited wild elephants out in the wild in another park, as well as went to elephant rescue place. And the work they're doing there is fabulous as well. So I was very, very inspired and very happy to see that these places in China are really promoting conservation.
And they got to meet you. And that's great.
Well, I kept saying, who do they think I am? Because we had the treatment.
Yeah.
And it's just culturally, the Chinese people were very, very gracious and wonderful hosts.
I had a bridesmaid who was Chinese. She mothered me like a mother hen. She just knew if I needed something, she was right there. Very gracious. If you tell a joke that maybe another American isn't going to get, she went, "Oh," always makes you save face, no matter what. She was just. My parents loved them.
Yeah.
At our church, the wedding was it looked like we'd opened the couple Chinese restaurants down the street because we had a whole slew of our Asian friends on top of the American.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
They're a wonderful culture. Oh.
Yeah, they're a wonderful culture, and the only thing that we're trying to change along with the Sun River National Park is the rhino horn consumption in the Asian population. Because a lot of wildlife experts and naturalists strongly feel that that's where we need to begin with rhino conservation, not, selling the horns or cutting the horns and giving them back, putting them back on the market, which is what some people think that we should do, is to flood the market with rhino horn and the demand would go down. I am not one of those conservationists that believe that. I think it starts with education and teaching people that rhino horn is nothing more than hair.
Yeah. And it hurts them. It hurts them.
And some Asian populations believe, it's very important for headaches, but you can take a Tylenol for that.
Yeah, or Advil.
And
Yeah.
the scientists in Asia and in China who have studied traditional medicine have come out with studies that absolutely say that rhino horn does not work in medicine.
This is good. Betsy, how can people, again, get in touch with you? And can you tell us the hours and the days you're open?
We're open every day till the end of October.
Even Sunday?
Absolutely, 10 to 5. And visit the website, southwickzoo.com. We have a brand new restaurant called Galliford's.
Oh, yeah.
And it's basically farm to table, not all, but it's all fresh and the finest ingredients, and the food is really amazing, and the bar is beautiful.
Family eating, right?
Absolutely.
Got some hamburgers, stuff like that?
We have
for kids?
hamburgers, pizzas. We have a pizza oven, and we also have our brand new zip line called the Soaring Eagle
Okay, now the zip line.
behind the restaurant.
All right, do you have to be like a certain age or height?
You have to be 42 inches tall.
I was going to say 42 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, 42 inches tall. That's how many feet?
I've been on it, and it looks scarier watching it than it does being up there. And when you get up 150 feet high on the back tower, it's beautiful, and you soar right down in.
How many minutes are you up there?
You're not up there very long, because you're going 30 miles an hour coming back in.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Do you get a ticket for speeding or what?
It's really cool because you can see all the way around you.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is we're so forested here that that's basically all you can see.
Yeah.
However, you do go over the lions, so you can see the lions as you look down.
And you better pray that thing doesn't come.
Yeah.
It's like when we saw that thing stop over the alligators. Oh,
Yeah.
No.
Up over the lions, so it's really cool.
Oh, it's been a long time then since we've been there because I don't remember the zip line. I don't think was there yet. I don't remember the train. It might have been. So you come in that door, you come in, and I remember the gift shop is on the left. Oh God, try to get me out of that gift shop.
Yeah.
Oh,
We have beautiful things from all over the world.
Yeah.
We import a lot of interesting things.
you have some Southwick's clothes too.
We do. We have
Such-
clothing
Yeah.
and different types of shirts and clothing and scarves.
Books.
And jewelry and books and beautifully carved woodwork from Africa. And anybody that's looking for unique gifts should certainly check out the gift shops at Southwick Zoo.
And then also they have, for the children, so you don't have to break the budget. There's some really cute toys for the kids and little memorabilia, that type of
Oh,
thing.
absolutely. Souvenirs
Yeah.
and things like that.
And then there's food. You go down, you walk down, it's the what is it called?
Zebra Cafe,
Yep, that's still down.
Clarissa's Cupboard. We have all of those. The Funky Monkey.
I don't want to give it away about the red bat.
Oh, that's a must see.
Oh yes, you
That's
have
for
to
sure.
see the red
It's been there
bat.
since 1963.
Yeah, that bat's getting up there.
Certainly is.
Yeah.
And also, we have a huge special event coming up on October 3rd,
Yeah.
which is going to be all about rhino conservation, and we're calling it Winos for Rhinos.
Rhinos for rhinos.
We're going to start it off with kids from the Mendon Upton school system coming in learning about rhino conservation, and they're going to be doing some painting for us. And then it's going to be Winos for Rhinos, 21 plus. And my friend Simon from South Africa will be here. He's flying in from South Africa to talk about rhino conservation and his program that he has in the quasi-natal area in South Africa.
So they're going to be serving wine for the grown-ups
yes.
and winos for
And
rhinos.
appetizers, and it's going to be in Galliford's restaurant. It's
Yeah.
going to be a great night,
Yeah.
and I hope people in the area will be interested in
Do they
coming
need
to learn more.
tickets?
We'll have tickets available, yes.
Okay.
So they can go to southwickzoo.com or earthltd.org.
What is, before we close, Betsy, I want to make sure people who haven't been there realize this, because it freaked me out the first time. You go in, you're on Route 16 in Mendon. You take, what's the road now? What's it, Mendon?
Millville Road.
Millville Road. It's just past the Chevy, what, that big dealership.
Yeah, it's right before there.
All right, so you get on that. Now, it's going to seem, when you go down there, like you're never going to get it. You're never going to.
Because it's 4 miles of a winding road.
I thought, oh, I'm on the wrong road.
Yeah.
Finally, you see the sign. And then, boy, you go in, and then it opens up. There's a parking lot. There's everything. And it's very much in there, so be patient, because at first it's like, oh, my God. I thought, I'm going too far into the
People
woods.
think they're lost.
Yeah, and I thought, there's no one around me here.
Yeah.
I think, I bet, and my son was, he was little, but he loved going on that camel.
Yeah.
And then that elephant, I took a friend and her little girl on it, and it decided to, let's say, just go to the John. While we were there, he stopped, and everybody else was laughing in
That's
line.
impressive to the children,
Oh, they love that,
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm like, oh, God. But
We like to get as interactive at our zoo as possible.
Yeah.
So when we do live animal presentations, in our bird show, we have little conures that are so cute that will take dollar bills out of your hands, and every cent is donated to the bird endowment to build nest boxes for wild birds out in the wild in Bolivia. And then all of the money that we raise for lions goes to the Nassau Lion Project. Every cent we raise for rhino encounters, and it's been $30,000 in 2 years,
Yeah.
goes towards rhino conservation. We keep none of that money. So we're really heavily into conservation. We really believe in it, and we want everybody to share the planet in a healthy way.
It's so good to see Betsy again. And we were just saying before the program, she doesn't age a bit. She is the same person she
Oh, I
was.
feel like I've aged.
So when I met you in 93 and 94, she gave my son a turtle. She had a little turtle. We named him Sonny the Turtle. And now you tell me, the turtle wouldn't eat. So I thought, oh dear, I got, really upset. You said I can go 6 months without food?
So some of them go that long, yes.
Okay, because I thought, what is wrong with this turtle?
Yeah.
Well,
A little turtle needs to eat just a little bit every day or so.
we thought he was depressed.
No. They need sun, and they need proper nutrition.
Great. I'll have to tell Wally. I'll have to tell him now. Like, really, the turtle was okay. Thank you for bringing our the Joey, the little baby kangaroo, and she is now sleeping upside down in her pouch. She's like up like this, and our wonderful armadillo
Dilly.
Dilly. Oh, you should have seen Glenn. You missed. Dilly finally came out of her shell. She could probably get lost in someone's house real quick.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes.
Look at she's stretching in her pouch. The kangaroo. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for
And
having
thank you
me.
for the tickets, and we will be
Absolutely.
going over there. I want to eat at the restaurant. I want to shop at the store. I want to ride. You can't ride the turtles.
No. But you can still ride a camel.
They still got the camel?
You can still ride a camel.
Oh, I'll have to tell my son that.
Mhm.
That was years ago. They got the camel. Okay, he got a kick out of that. He might have been 10 when he got up there.
Mm-hmm.
His children might like it now. 4 or 5 years old. We were just...
Oh, they would love it.
Betsy just became a grandmother.
Yes.
How old now?
He's a little more than a year and a half. Ryan.
At least your
And I
children...
have a granddaughter, too.
How old is she?
She's a baby. She's almost 2 months.
The same couple? The
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's what they wanted to do. My boys are 13 months apart, so they thought it would be a good idea. I think they might be rethinking it now, but...
Well, at least they waited till they were about 30, right?
Yes.
My son had other ideas. He
Yeah.
was still a kid.
Yeah.
So they feel more like they're my children in a way.
Right.
Betsy, thanks again for being
Thank you
on.
so much.
I always want to know what she's going to be on for Critters. She doesn't tell me, right? So she surprises me. Thank you again. Well, have
Absolutely.
you back again.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you next time and be my guest.